Assalamu alaikum. Welcome in the day number 4 of course IWCF Well Intervention course level 4. Today, inshallah, we'll continue the section of the coiled tubing part. As we started yesterday, I will start to share my presentation. All right, gentlemen. So now this is the last section in the coiled tubing, which is called coiled tubing emergency procedures. So during operation for coiled tubing, there is some situation or unexpected situation can happen, lead to well control issues. So what is the best procedures according to the API to secure fast and safe way the well? Let's look at this CT emergency procedure. This procedure is just guideline for us, recommendation from the API. That means this steps can vary from location to location according to the policy for your company or according to where the position for the tool string and what is the wellhead pressure or the fluid at the surface, and what is the action of the crew or personnel on the site to secure the well. So also this depends on the experience on the field. Let's look for different scenario. First scenario, platform shutdown. You work on offshore or onshore, and you have shutdown in the site. So this is steps to make the well safe. So first one, you will stop coiled tubing movement. Then you will stop pumping. Then number 3, you'll close slip, ram, and lock manual. Number 4, close pipe ram and lock manual. Wait for another instruction. If the instruction come to evacuate the location, so you may need to close shear seal, drop the coiled tubing inside the well bore, close the Christmas tree valves. Second procedure or second situation, you have during the operation for coiled tubing complete power back failure. So you have shutdown in the power supply. Yes, Mr. Khawar.
Ahmed, what is meant by platform shutdown? Platform shutdown, what it is? It is a reflow.
You are working in platform and offshore wells. Okay, this is called platform, and in this case you have alarm in the platform to secure all the operations. So at that moment you need to secure the well and get instruction from the supervisor if you need it is emergency, you need to evacuate. So you will shear and cut the coiled tubing and drop in the well. If not, and you need to back to continue after discussion, so you will open again the slip and pipe ram and you continue your operation. That means is platform shutdown. The same like on onshore, if you have siren or alarm for drills like H2S or any drills on rig site, you will make the same steps. You will shut in, stop coiled tubing, stop pumping, go bottom, then you will close the slip and pipe ram, then you will wait for instruction and go to the master point. This is the same situation. Okay. Second situation.
What about the point 6? Point 5 is okay. I wait for further instruction.
Point 6, if it is real situation and you need to evacuate the location for any emergency, that means you need to cut and drop the coiled tubing and secure the well with the Christmas tree. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Power back failure. Second. Second situation can happen, complete power back failure. That means all the power is shut down except the pump running still, because the source for the pump is separate from the power pack for the coiled tubing operation. So first is the stop coiled tubing, close slip and pipe ram and lock manual, apply reel brake manually if it is not fail safe automatic lock. Maintain circulation if required, as pump source it is independent to not cause the string to be stuck inside the well, especially if you have milling or clean out operation. Number 5, you will take action to repair or replace power back with new one. Then you can resume your operation after you fix the power back system. Another situation, you have pump failure. Situation number 3. If you have completely pump failure, so you will pull coiled tubing some distance to free position to avoid solid sticking or stuck for the coiled tubing at the bottom. You will close, slip, and diaphragm and lock manual. And you need to check if the check valve holding the pressure, so no build up at the surface for the pressure. So you will close real isolation valve and low torque manual valve in the inlet for the coiled tubing reel. Switch to spare pump if available. Usually the coiled tubing operation will be running with 2 pump or twin pump, as you have one backup to the primary one. If you don't have, that means you will wait. If no spare pump, you will consider to pulling out to save distance inside cased hole or to the surface. Secure the well and waiting for pump replacement. After the pump is coming, you will resume back your operation, run to bottom and continue your operation. This procedure is just guideline or recommendation. It can vary a little bit, as I said in the beginning, from policy to policy, according to the depths also for the coiled tubing, the tool string, which what is the position inside the well bore, and also depend on the pressure for the wellhead. Number 4, situation number 4, check valve not holding. You can see this one by continuous building up at the surface pressure. That means check valve is passing the pressure. So we cannot continue because the check valve is the primary internal barrier for the coiled tubing, especially on high pressure wells. So you have 2 options. If possible, to pump down inside the string fluid or kill fluid and pull out to surface to change the check valve is okay, fine. This depends on the type for job, the depth and wellhead pressure. If not possible, so you will be or you must kill the well to make the operation safe and then pull out of hole to change the check valve assembly. Anyway, you need to change the check valve as the primary barrier to continue your operation in safe way.
Ahmed, can you repeat this check valve not holding valve?
The check valve is not holding, that means you have built up at the surface. So that means the check valve is passing the pressure to the surface. In that moment, you cannot continue operation because if you have failed for any reason or leak at the coiled tubing at the surface, that means all the pressure will go through this point because the check valve now is not holding the pressure. So you have 2 options based on the operation. If you are be able to pump down some fluid down and pulling out to the surface to change without killing the well, it will be fine. So this depends on the type for operation and wellhead pressure. If not possible to do this one and you have high pressure build up at the surface, so you need to pump kill fluid down the string to kill the well, and then you pull out safely to change the check valve assembly. Okay.
Ahmed, can we bleed the pressure from the reel and then pump from the tubing, coil tubing? Can we do this or not?
After you bleed, you will have build up again because you already the check valve is passing.
Okay, fine.
Okay. And this one you cannot continue because if you have for any situation or any reason leak on the coiled tubing or parted coiled tubing is parted, that means you don't have any internal barrier inside the coiled tubing, so all pressure will come to the surface, so it will make the situation more worse. Okay. Another situation can happen during operation. Surface equipment leaks as you said, as you see here, there is leak in lubricators above the shear seal and below the quad POB. So lubricator here connection above safety head and below the POP. So you have some sequence to do. First, you need to stop the pump to check if any flow or pressure at the surface or not. Okay, you slow down or stop the pump. If there is no pressure at the surface, so you'll be able to pull out while pumping to keep the hole full until above the POP. Then you close Christmas tree valves, repair the leak point or change the lubricator section or seal. Another option, second option, number 3, if there is surface pressure, so you need to kill the well, pull out, close Christmas tree, the same, and repair the leak point. So usually the first action, if you can manage the problem, you can go with the first step. Usually second step here is to killing the well in case of emergency. That's why we said from beginning, killing the well is not the priority for our operation. It is second option if you have any emergency procedure. Third option, if the leak is severe, cannot control or contain H2S and is not safe, so pull out 10 meter or just from the bottom. If you are on bottom, you just pull off bottom. Shear the pipe with safety head because the point for leakage is below the POB, quad POB. The pipe after that will have a space to drop inside the well bore to the bottom. Then your Christmas tree valve is free from any coiled tubing. Close Christmas tree valves, fix the leak, prepare for fishing operation. So usually the first option to solve or manage the problem, second option to kill the well, and last option here is to cut the string for the coiled tubing because it is more costly. You will have to do some fishing operation and it will cost more. This is the 3 options in steps.
Ahmed, if we have 2 options given, 3 and 4, and the question is surface equipment leaks, lubricator connection above safety head below BOP. And we have 2 options, 3 and 4. Okay. 3, if there is a surface pressure, kill the well, pull out of hole, close Christmas tree, repair the leak. And the second option is if pull out of hole, don't take if severe leak not controlled. Okay, the answer starts from pull out of hole. Pull out of hole 10 meter, shape the pipe with the safety head, the pipe will drop on the well.
But here
on the well. Okay, which option we will take?
It is dependent. In 3 here, there is surface pressure but in control. That means you may have leak, small leak for oil or not gas for sure, and not contain any H2S. And so you cannot manage the pulling out because you are, for example, is near to the surface. It's not far inside the well bore. So based on the situation now, you will select the best action. You can pull out fast and close the Christmas tree after you kill the well, or you are deep inside the well bore and you cannot manage this situation and you have severe leak like H2S percentage or gas well, high pressure. At that moment, you will take decision, okay? But the more safe here and the quick is to pump kill fluid inside the string for the coiled tubing to kill. So, and after that, you're pulling out. Also, if this one is possible and the kill fluid is ready also, because in most coiled tubing operation, you have usually spare tank with kill fluid ready. If you are working in live well, in high pressure well, especially in exploration well, you must have volumes for the well as a kill fluid is ready in case of emergency. This is also recommendation or procedures. Yeah, Mr. Khawar.
Ahmed, how we will kill the well? We will kill the well through coil tubing or we will do the bull heading? I guess we will do the bull heading.
You can pull from Christmas tree, pull heading to pump some kill fluid inside the well.
Bull heading is the option, right?
Yeah. you can pull heading from annulus between coiled tubing and the string for production pipe.
Okay. Actually, leak is also from the coiled tubing and coiled tubing annulus, right? As lubricator is leaking.
Or you can pump from the coiled tubing. If you pump from the coiled tubing, that means the pressure, some fluid, the pressure maybe come down inside the well pool. So it will be better than you have surface pressure high at the surface at that moment. So you try to minimize the effect or reduce the surface pressure to keep the pulling out safe if you are deep inside the well pool.
If we pump the kill fluid from the coil tubing, it will take time to reach at the bottom or into the formation.
Why it takes long time? How much volume for the coiled tubing capacity?
Actually, if we have the volume of coil tubing like 30 barrels,
Okay,
and we
30
are pumping
barrel.
at the 1 barrel, 30 barrels, and we will, if we are pumping at the 1 barrel per minute rate, then obviously it will take a 30 minutes to reach at the bottom.
Okay,
so the bull heading will be the
maximum it will
so
be
the bull
30.
heading,
Okay.
yeah. So bull heading will be the good option, because if we wait for the 30 minutes and in 30 minutes the lubricator kept on leaking, that is dangerous.
Okay,
We
no
should go
problem.
for the
You pump, you pull head from the kill line down. So if it is fast for you, it is a good choice. No problem.
Okay, thank you. Now we can
So
continue.
you will reduce the wellhead pressure and you can resume pulling out of hole. Okay.
But Mr. Ahmed, don't you think that if we try going to pump through kill line and we have a severe leakage above and there is some pressure as well, then the pressure would be kick the kill fluid out of that leakage point.
No,
Don't
no.
you think?
When you pump from here, for sure the fluid will start to coming down under gravity. It will not come
But
up to this distance to come out.
But if we have some pressure at the surface, then we'll go towards the killing the well. If that pressure is that enough that it can kick the kill fluid out of that leak point.
Okay, in this case, if you try to pump kill fluid from the string and the return is coming from here because of high pressure, you will go to the last option. You will not be able to kill the well. So you will cut because now is the pressure is effect on your operation. That means it is high pressure. So you cannot control.
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
But pumping through coil tubing would be more feasible relatively. If you want to kill the well, then pumping through coil tubing would be more feasible relative to bullheading.
But pumping through the coiled tubing will restrict the rate. And you need the kill fluid to start to enter annulus.
Yeah, but I think if we don't have a pressure, then we would go with coil tubing. Otherwise, we would go with bullhead.
But we said usually you have connection here above or at the Christmas tree valve. This is for bullheading for emergency situation. You must have connections, floatee, or you have one valve at the Christmas tree connected to the well, to the pump. Why? In case of emergency, you will be able to pull head. All right?
Yeah, fine.
Okay, going to another situation, which is strippers leak during operation. You have leak from the stripper. So stripper, you start to energize. This is the first immediately action, as we said in the question yesterday, if you remember. You should have energized the stripper just to stop the surface leak. But the well pressure is without restrict the coiled tubing, but you still have pressure at the surface. So you still have leak at the surface from the stripper assembly. So first you will stop coiled tubing movement. Why you stop? To activate the POP. You will close slip and pipe, look manually. You will check, make inflow test. There is no build up pressure below the closed pipe ram. Okay, let me continue this one and I will take your question. Number 5, you need to energize the backup stripper if installed. If you have dual one, so you have dual or double barrier, close BUB and stripper, bleed off any pressure above, confirm zero pressure, and you replace the packing element with new one. Check the system, then pack again to open and continue your operation after equalizing the pressure. Yes, Mr. Khawar.
Ahmed, my question is that we always have to close slip ramps first, then the pipe ramps, or we can close the pipe ramp first and then slip ramp?
No, you need first to close the slip, then the pipe. The slip will hold the weight and pipe ram will seal. If you close only pipe ram, maybe the coil tubing, it will be slipped through the pipe ram because
Okay.
the slippage on the body from outside. That's need to hold the weight for the coil tube. Okay. The slip ram also is not sealing ram, as we said yesterday, just to hold the string weight. Another situation, you have hole in coil tubing, pinhole above the stripper assembly, so at the surface. For example, at that area between the reel or at the reel and the gooseneck. What is the procedure? Heel hole in coil tubing above the stripper at the surface. You will stop coil tubing movement. Second, you reduce pump pressure or pump rate as much as possible, but not shut down the pump to have some pressure inside the well. You have 3 options here. If the hole is small, like pinhole, and the check valve is holding, that means no build up at the surface. So you can be able to pull out till the pinhole coming to the surface on the reel. Close the slip and pipe ram and lock manual. You can just temporarily repair and fix the leak with coil connector. And this only the situation, just to continue pulling out of hole, you can make temporary repair with coil connector. It's not to continue, it's just to pull out the remaining for the coil tubing out. Reestablish pumping again, open the POP, pull out of the hole to surface, replace the reel with new one and make inspection for the old one. This is in case of you have slim or small hole and the check valve is holding the pressure from below. Number 4, if the hole is large and severe leak and the check valve is still holding pressure. So in this case, it is more risky to pull out of the hole. So we'll continue running and position the leak between the stripper and pipe ram. So the leak now is below the stripper and you start to close the slip and pipe ram. So you have now the leak trapped between 2 sealing points, the stripper and the pipe ram. Look manually. In this case, you will pull head or you kill the well with circulation to keep the well safe, zero well head pressure. Then you will continue pulling out of hole to replace the reel. So first option, usually try to manage or solve the issue. Second option here also, killing the well is second option. Third option, to cut. Here if the hole is large and severe leak, H2S for example, check valve in same time is not holding. So no choice here. Cut the pipe with shear seal, safety head, drop the coil tubing and secure the well with Christmas tree, plan for fishing operation. So the last option here is to cut the coil tubing. Here, usually monitoring the parameters for the operation, leaks in the string will cause little pressure drop in the pump pressure. Another situation, coil tubing is parted between the reel and the injector at the surface. You see here there is cut, so you need to take immediate action. In this situation, coil tubing parted between injector and the stripper at the surface. So first, you will close slip ram. So you hang the string. Close the shear ram. Second, to check if there is coil tubing remaining across the shear ram or dropped below the POP. If no coil tubing across the POP, then you will close the blind ram. So coil tubing is dropped. You will close the blind ram and discuss the situation. If there is coil tubing across the POP, so you will close the shear seal above the tree. Bleed off any pressure, remove the injector, and start for the option for fishing job. Parted coil tubing for sure will cause more pressure drop and string weight drop, especially if you have cut or part down holes. Here now the coil tubing is not cutting or cut at the surface, but it's parted down hole. That means you have part and separation between bottom hole assembly and your coil tubing inside the pipe. So how you recognize this one? With weight and the pressure drop, you can estimate the depth for the cutting from the software of the coil tube. So first option will stop the coil tubing movement. You will close the well to check the well head pressure is below the maximum allowable working pressure for the coil tubing or not. You will see the built up at the surface because now the check valve is out from the string or dropped inside the well. Establish the estimated depths for the parted coil tubing from the string weight calculation. Kill the well from coil tubing or from the floatee. Confirm the well is dead. Pulling out slowly the parted coil tubing slowly to predetermine depths. When the coil tubing has come to the surface, you will start to close the swab valve slowly. Then you can close all Christmas tree valve, upper and lower master valve to secure the well. Then you depressurize the riser and pull the end of the part to the surface. Prepare to fish the lost coil tubing from the hole. For sure, parted coil tubing, if you have stuck, you may have parted in the coil tubing, especially from the coil connector. That's why you have surface test on the coil connector, and you have also maximum pull safe to the coil tubing operation. If you've stuck, don't exceed this one to not part the coil tubing inside the well. Yes, Mr. Khawar.
Ahmed, I wanted to discuss about the point 2, CT parted downhole. Okay, stop CT, it's okay. Point 2 is close the well to check the well head pressure is below the maximum allowable working pressure of the coil tubing or not.
Okay.
How can we close the well if there is a coil inside? We need to share the well or share the CT or what?
No, you
How will we
close around the pipe ram. Okay. So you have you can see that you have sensors in the POP. It gives you the wellhead pressure now.
Okay.
It's not only from surface. You have sensor connected with electronic sensor to the cabin. It gives you how much pressure below the POP.
Okay, fine. 3, establish the estimated depth. Okay, kill the well from the coil tubing or from the floatee. Confirm the well is dead. Pull out slowly the parted part slowly to predetermined depth. Close Christmas tree. Count the time. Establish CT in a Christmas tree. Once CT is above, safety valve close. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So this was the last section in the coil tubing. Thank you very much to attend the course.